The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid Scream Queens, the unofficial Scream Queens internet radio show exclusively on PapiChuloRadio.com. Papi Chulo Radio, pop culture on demand. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, 2016, and I'm your host, Jeffrey Aruz. During tonight's broadcast, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of Fox's Scream Queens. Please welcome my co-hosts, Prince Rico Suave.
Hi.
Yes.
Alaska, baby.
Priscilla.
I knew you were doing Alaska Thunderfuck. Oh my god, that's awesome.
Priscilla Rocha.
Not as awesome an opening, but hey guys.
And Wilson Hammond Jr.
What's going on? Don't cross me, sluts.
That was good. I didn't know where you were going with that, but I like that it was a quote. Oh, Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Let's jump into our recap of Season 2, Episode 5, titled Chanel pour Homme-icide, and aired November 15th, 2016. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. After discovering Denise dead and number 5 alive, Dean and Zayde freeze Denise's brain-dead body and find the entire Halloween party they had been helping massacred. The publicity from this increases the number of patients and staff at the hospital. As Chanel and number 3 grow tired of Nurse Hoffel's demands, they recruit more Chanels to do their dirty work and as bait for the green meanie. 2 patients from the hospital, number 7 and number 8, as well as Tristan, the first male Chanel, aka Chanel pour Homme. Zayde and number 5 meet the mother of the hospital baby and find nothing to help the investigation. Kathy fires Nurse Hoffel, who then blackmails her to rehire her. Number 3, Cassidy and Brock treat a woman with foreign accent syndrome, and it catches to them before they find the cure of watching American TV shows. Hester rejoins the Chanels as number 6 by teasing them with the knowledge of the serial killer, suggesting they send out one of the new recruits as bait. After number 3 argues against number 7 going, they settle on sending out number 8. They tell number 8 that a necklace is hidden in the hospital and she must find it for herself. Number 8's search is interrupted by Tristan, who wants the necklace and tells number 8 to leave. Tristan is consequently murdered by the green meanie. To the Chanel surprise, Munch approves of the disposable Chanels and gives Chanel 3 more, number 9, number 10, and number 11. Number 11 is killed after tripping and getting her extra finger sliced off. And in the final moments, it is revealed that Cassidy is the hospital baby. Burm, burm, burm. Yes, that was extra long. because we've been extra gone. So let's get into it. I want to get everyone's initial reaction to the episode, and we'll start off with our very own Chanel. What number would you be, I guess? Chanel number 15, because why not?
Did they get it? Yeah. I was like, how did they get up to 9 through 11?
They got up to 11. So let's say you're Chanel number 12. Priscilla.
Thank you. I felt like getting into this after like a bunch of like break time that, I don't know, it was just going to go like a little bit raunchier, go a little bit more dark comedy. And I didn't really feel that this episode. Like, I'm sure the more we talk about it, the more notable like moments will pop out to me. But this felt kind of like a regular episode to me. This didn't feel like something stand out.
Okay. Prince, what about you?
All right.
You are our own Chanel pour homme.
So, on Priscilla's little thing, you also have to remember...
Priscilla's little thing.
We had a break, so I know how you're feeling. But I look at it as this would... If we didn't get the breaks, this would dominantly be one of those filler episodes that we kind of need with Scream Queens. But, I would have expected, a better episode. Maybe we should have went on break prior or after, you know what I mean? So it could have came back harder. But I enjoyed this episode. If we all remember, this is the episode I've been waiting for, because I've been waiting for more Chanels. I've been saying it this whole season. I need more Chanels. I need more Chanels. I need more Chanels. And I got what I asked for. So I greatly enjoyed this episode.
All right. And keeping with the Chanel theme, here's Chanel au chocolat. That's you, Wilson.
That's you, Wilson.
Oh, I was like, all right. I wasn't expecting that one.
I wasn't either.
I kind of agree with my fellow co-host there. I think this episode should have come earlier, and maybe it would have had more impact. Overall, I still think it was a pretty good episode, though, because we got to see a few things that, just to tidy up other areas and to lead on to other questions. But like you said, I think they kind of blew away some of our predictions, though. So in that sense, it was enjoyable, because it's continued to go against convention in and of itself. So a filler, it feels like a filler, like they said. Yeah, I'd have to agree.
I agree with some of the things that some of you said. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I thought it was fun. I disagree that there wasn't like extra dark humor, because that anytime Chanel number 5 was in the scene, just walking or trying to do anything was hilarious to me. Like, they put the actress in hell with that brace thing. I mean, it was fantastic to watch, and pure physical comedy and physical dark comedy, which was spectacular. I agree that this probably should have been the episode that they went on the hiatus for, in particular because of the reveal at the end. That would have been a really great cliffhanger, I think. Then sort of like it,
like a little...
Yeah, because like the whole, I mean, no disrespect to Denise, because we all love Denise, and so watching her appear lifeless, on the ground was a good cliffhanger. But this one, because it had to deal with like the actual mystery at hand, would have been a better cliffhanger. I wish that they would have started the series a week earlier, or have done a 2-hour premiere, so that episode number count would have fallen, so that the mid-season break would have been this episode, because this would have been a better episode to go on break, and then the first episode back is like, whoa, give us some more information on the cliffhanger and that kind of thing. So I agree with all of you on that.
No, I agree with you with that too. Also, they could have gave us 11 episode season. Like, it doesn't need to be an even number. Like, it doesn't really matter what number you give us, as long as you give us what we need. So if they gave us a 2-hour premiere, they could still did like their little short season.
Yeah, I agree. So let's get into it. Before we get into our thorough recap of the latest episode of Scream Queens, here's our announcer with a few reminders on how you can interact with us.
Follow Papi Chulo Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Papi Chulo Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Are You Afraid? Scream Queens, and subscribe.
Thanks, announcer. So we pick up pretty much where we left off. We have Chanel number 5 on the floor, screaming in agony, and we see Chanel, Kathy Munch, and number 3 headed her way because Chanel could hear number 5's screams because Chanel is attracted to number 5's pain like a shark to blood in the water, and she's developed an addiction to it, which I thought was a great line. So she heard her all across the hospital, and this was fantastic because this shows how much respect number 5 gets, because they find Denise's body, and everyone ends up hovering over Denise, and they take, they check for her pulse, and they make sure if she's dead or not, and they're all grieving over Denise, and number 5's like, hey, me, and Chanel is like, can you give us 2 minutes? We're trying to grieve over Denise. Number 5. It was pure comedy. It was fantastic.
She's like, can you stop making everything about you?
Yes. Says the lady who has with the lady with the hatchet in her back. That was fantastic. And this scene leads to Kathy Munch having another idea of we need to dump this body in the swamp, because she's FBI, and if they find out, then they're going to close down the hospital, and no one's going to want to come because of a serial killer and this, that, or the other. But, Zayde is reluctant to do that because, Denise was our friend and all this kind of stuff. But before they can even come up with a decision, they hear a scream. And so they rush back to where all of the patients were, and all of the patients were killed, and some of them were strung up, and the Green Meanie has struck again, killing another Halloween party. Well, even though they weren't involved in the party, but you know what I'm saying. So because of this, the dean has decided that she has to, call the police and go public with this. But before all that happens, they have to do something with Denise. So with Zayde's help, Munch and Zayde take Denise down to this new cryogenic chamber, courtesy of Chad Radwell's money, and they end up tucking Denise away inside of the machine until there's a cure created for being electrocuted. And this is when Munch, tells Zayde, please, find a cure for me, because I do not want to be stuck in one of these chambers like Denise will be. So, before we continue on, and before I ask you a question, Munch also mentions one of the reasons they're putting her in the cryogenic chamber is because she felt a faint pulse when she checked Denise's pulse. So now I can ask, I'm so excited that they found a way to maybe bring Denise back at one point. Were we all surprised by this? Are we happy that our girl might come back, maybe as a cyborg or something, in a future episode?
Holy shit. I was just kind of like, fuck, she's dead. No, I left the season, the last episode being like, oh, damn it. They took out the 2 best comedic elements, I feel like, if they got rid of Chad and they got rid of Denise. This is why I watched the show. But for the scant hope that maybe she comes back, although, when they find a cure for being electrocuted, does not leave me with good, theories as to, if she can come back or not. But you know what? This is Scream Queens. This is a Cure Institute. They might find something. So I'm very happy she might come back.
Yes.
Well, I feel like she will come back. I feel like their whole objective is to cure the uncurable.
Yeah.
And I feel like Denise is going to be an uncurable that they somehow eventually cure at the end.
Yes. And over on Supergirl, they're going to have Cyborg Superman. They can have Cyborg Denise.
If
That's
we're
true. And then
talking
she
about
could go
other
to.
networks, CBS has this new show called Pure Genius that is essentially the Cure Institute played straight.
Oh, that's
It's
funny.
Yeah, it's like we're here to cure incurable diseases, and we have like the highest technology and like all this shit, and it's serious. It's a
I bet
serious
there's no
show.
Or
green
maybe,
meanie there.
or
Nah.
maybe Alex Parrish from ABC's hit show Quantico will
Oh
find the
my
cure.
gosh.
Crossover event. I would totally watch that.
I would too. I think Alex Parrish and Denise Hempfield should have their own show.
That would be too
Called
funny. Denise getting
Quantico.
sexy time.
Oh my
Good
god!
grief.
Imagine Alex and Denise's sexy time.
Yeah, that'd be funny. Wilson, are you glad that our girl might be coming back at some point?
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting how they did that. Like, she has a slight come back. I don't know. Then when she called Zayday back, I thought they were going to be doing something else, and actually tossing her into the swamp. She's like, I felt a slight pulse. I was like, aha, they're going to bring her back. Yeah. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. They kept her alive with Chad Radwell's money. So like, yeah, good to keep Denise
Yeah,
around.
that's funny. I read somewhere that Niecy Nash is going to be on another TV show. So maybe one of the reasons why they sort of wrote the character away is maybe she was filming the other show. But and this certainly allows her the chance to pop back whenever she's available. I don't know if it's going to be
No.
again this season or
I keep
hopefully
up
in
with
a
like
new
her
season.
Instagram, and
I
keep
do
up with her
too.
Instagram, and
on
she's
two
like
shows.
on 2 shows besides this one. I'm just like, oh, okay. She promotes the shit out of that other show. Like, so
Yes, she did. The nurse
I
one.
was scared that she's dead because she doesn't promote Scream Queens as often. But
It could also be
No.
because she was more of a special guest star this season, maybe, as opposed to she wasn't necessarily a series regular last season. She was still a special guest star, but she was, I think, either in every episode or at least like 95% of the episodes.
Yeah, you might be right. Because I'm like, when I look at it, I'm like, you can see that the regulars promote it a lot more because they'll post a lot of pictures of them like hanging out together backstage. Like I know number 3, Billy Lord and like Kiki Palmer have like pictures all the time, and like Jamie Lee Curtis will take pictures with the cast and post it. But she's also directing the show. Also, isn't that what's going on?
She's directing an upcoming episode. Yeah, episode number 8.
Okay, yeah. So like I know she was a lot hands-on more. So I think it was just more of who was able to be on the studio more.
Yeah. And plus, I would say, I mean, Niecy Nash was, in my opinion, an honorary series regular last season because she was never billed as a series regular, but she was in, like I mentioned, she was in basically every single episode of the first season. And while Jamie Lee was a series regular last season, because of the location, she really wasn't in as many episodes nor as present in the episodes as she has been now that it's filmed in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it was like a reverse promotion, the two of them.
Yeah, kind of. But also Niecy has been blowing up. I mean, she's everywhere.
Yeah, girl. Shondell was looking out for her up in the sky.
I know, up in the great Best Buy parking lot up in the sky.
Arby's is looking out for her.
Yes.
But you know what, Shondell, better be careful and not touch no Chad because when Denise gets up there, she ain't sharing her Chad, right?
I know, yeah, exactly. So the dean obviously has to call the authorities, and she feared the worst. The Cure Institute was going to shut down. She wouldn't be able to find a cure to her disease, but things took a turn for the better because after alerting the authorities to the deaths, it brought a swarm of new patients, all these people with the incurable diseases. And, the idea of a serial killer didn't scare people away. It actually, the interest of being cured of their incurable diseases, brought an increased interest into the Cure Institute. And of course, this is the Scream Queens universe, so, whether there's a serial killer or not, people are going to do stupid things. So all these people have flooded in, and they want to be cured by the Cure Institute. And so we're introduced to a whole bunch of new patients. We're introduced to Penelope Hotchkiss, who is suffering from a foreign accent syndrome, and this was spectacular to watch. Props to the actress, because she was, with every line, going in and out of a different accent. At one point, number 3 is like, it's interesting how you've been going out of different accents, but you haven't done one that's offensive. And then all of a sudden, she jumps into an Indian accent, and I loved Holt because he pointed directly at her. It was fantastic.
I think honestly, number 3 made this episode with the little remarks that she said, because it always led into something more, or it was just very witty and clever and a put down to somebody else.
Yeah. So, number 3 was awesome this episode.
Yeah, and that accent lady was incredible as well. I have to hands down give it up to her, because I'm honestly, every accent that she did was spot on in a sense.
Yeah, she was on it. Yeah, that was impressive.
She really was. And so let's go through, because she was the case of the week. So we'll go through this case pretty quickly because it was pretty simple. So she works at the UN. She's a translator, and she had done a slip and fall. She slipped on a banana peel, and she hit her head. And so they thought that maybe that's what was the cause of it, but they weren't sure. They kept on running tests, and they ended up figuring out at first it was for an accent syndrome, and then all of a sudden it started spreading to other members of the Cure staff. Cassidy, Holt, and number 3 started adopting accents, and they started going in and out of accents until they ended up on this Cockney British accent. And they ended up figuring out that what they had was called Madonna syndrome. And basically they were adopting the accent that they were hearing on a continuous basis. And so they figured out that what they have to do so that they can stop with the accent is to watch basically American television, the most American television, an American television that doesn't have any type of accents, listening to people speak in English without any type of regional dialect or anything like that. So they were going to do a binge fest of that. Cassidy ends up having a previous engagement, so he can't, but it seems as if Holt and number 3 were going to have this grand time binging some stuff, much to number 3's excitement or something like that. She gave an interesting look when it was just the 2 of them together. So just focusing on the patient and the 3 of them taking on the accents, what do we think of this part of the episode?
I love the little sly looks that number 3 gives. And God, I loved the fact that he brings up all of these American DVDs, and he brings up The Americans. She's like, yeah, that TV show isn't about that. God, the little quips, the little lines that they give are just brilliant. But I feel jealous for Chanel number 1, so I kind of don't want Chanel number 3 to end up in a relationship with Dr. Holt. But you know what? Chad got freaky with every single one of the Chanels and everybody in the school, so it's probably going to happen with this doctor too.
And we kind of forget, I kind of feel like we forget that Chanel's are sluts.
Yeah.
They're the class A definition of what sluts are. Come on, Chanel number 5 was getting Eiffel Towered by 2 brothers.
Well, there's that.
So, but I did. I loved this part. I thought this was the most hilarious part ever. And then when they started picking up the accents, and then it became the Madonna syndrome, when she went to England and started picking up accents, I thought that was kind of funny.
Taylor Lautner.
I thought they were going to call it Lindsay Lohan syndrome, considering. Did y'all ever see that video where fucking Lindsay Lohan?
Yeah, she was speaking Greek or trying to. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was very sad. Yeah. But I loved how Taylor Lautner was not the best with the accents, and I loved how the characters teased him about it, because you could tell that either that was written in because Taylor Lautner wasn't good with the accents, or he specifically wasn't good with the accent because it was in the script, but regardless of like what it was, sort of like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, it was still funny. Like I loved how they were picking on him. And like, what the hell kind of accent
Yeah, I
are
kind
you
of
doing?
feel like just by watching, they felt like Billy Lord's accent was the best, and that's why they gave her the most lines with the accent.
Yeah, you could tell that he wasn't really saying as much in accents, but it was still funny to see.
They mentioned like one of the movies. I don't even remember what it was from, and they're like, "You sound like Brad Pitt in this movie." I'm like, I just saw that movie like an hour ago, and you're completely
7
right.
Years in Tibet.
Yes, it's like what the. Okay, wow. Okay, like they did a good job with the shitty accents
themselves though. Like they never actually technically cured themselves of the accent.
We're probably just like gonna see them cured of it like next one. And if it was catching like that, I wonder why the other Chanels like didn't catch it when Chanel number 3 was nearby them. Why Zayday or the others didn't catch it?
Well, because Chanel number 3 doesn't really talk much either though. Like especially when she's like with the Chanels, like Chanel Oberlin does most of the talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very true.
She just kind of goes, "Yeah, right." She's
Chanel number 3 wasn't taking Chanel number 1's shit though this episode. Do you remember? Like
no, she's like not the twink.
Mm-hmm. No, and like even before, like with the catheter and the toilet, like scenes like where she just was when Chanel's like what I was born to do was just to like give orders, and Chanel number 3 just kind of gave her this dirty look. Like this was not the episode for the Chanels to fall in line to Chanel number 1.
Well, actually, yeah, Chanel number 5 was kind of bossing up too. I kind of feel like Chanel's kind of like slowly losing her power and she's not realizing it. Like,
I see it too.
They're kind of like low-key, like finding their own balls. I don't think they're never going to be Chanel's, but maybe they're trying. Yeah. Maybe they might be like Chanel's of their own personality by like the next season. A little switch off, get a little bit more of their own personality coming into the clique. Because all the Chanel's are glorified Ashleys from Recess. Ooh,
I told
scandalous.
Right. Yes, those
shout out to Recess.
The Ashleys grew up and became the Chanels. Oh my god.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what happens when they got out of the playground. They became
Recess is the story of our lives.
It really is.
Yeah. So let's move into one of my new favorite characters. We see her again after she had been gone for, it feels like forever, but also we've been on hiatus for like forever. Nurse Hoffel. And when she first appeared, I don't know if y'all noticed, but I did because I love this effect. When she approached Munch in the beginning, they did the Hoffel screech, like when she appears. I love that so much. I don't really know why it's so stupid, but it just makes me smile inside.
I was just happy that Chrissy Alley was back.
Yeah, she's fantastic in this role. She's awesome. And in her first scene, basically we gather from Munch's sort of like inner monologue that Hoffel is getting on her nerves, and she feels like Hoffel is trying to undermine her and all this kind of stuff. And we later see Hoffel interacting with the Chanels and making them wash bedpans and catheters and all this kind of stuff. And basically Hoffel is like, you all aren't doctors, so I'm having you do what you're qualified to do and all this kind of stuff, and which leads to a revolt from the Chanels, and the Chanels getting an idea that we'll discuss in a little bit, but focusing on Hoffel. Later on, there's a scene between Hoffel and Munch. Munch calls Hoffel into her office, and Munch fires Hoffel, basically saying that she's a drug addict and that she doesn't like her, and so she's fired. But Hoffel is like, I have a feeling that I'm going to be rehired in just a moment, and that's because I know about your disease. And if you want to keep that disease a secret, you're going to rehire me. If not, there are going to be all these articles and, stories written about you, being the head of the Cure Institute, but having this disease and then dying. And so regardless of her addiction, which she says she loves, she thrives for popping her pills every single day, and it's enough pills to like tranquilize a horse or something like that. But it seems as if Munch is forced to rehire Hoffel, no matter what Munch thinks of like how she treats, anybody in the staff. So, and we saw a flashback at the start of the episode because remember she had bugged Munch's office, so that's how she knows about the Kuru disease, which it was fantastic because like Hoffel was like, people will find out that you ate brains, and like who the hell thinks that they're going to New Jersey but they end up in New Guinea? And I was like, what, all this crap is true. Like how the hell did she end up in New Guinea?
Are thinking.
Yes.
You're completely right.
the drugs work for her. So, okay, let's talk about Hoffel and her scenes in this episode and her confrontation with Kathy Munch.
Bitch came back with a bang.
Yeah, that was wild.
Those two actresses are like I know that they're from different like things entirely, like they both did different sorts of film and TV at some point in their lives, but they're both really good at chewing up scenery and like commanding like the audience's attention, and both of them do so well, like duking it out against one another. Like
I agree.
They both were just giving truth bombs to each other, and I was just kind of like, fuck, like I'm just gonna sit back, eat some popcorn, and watch this like go explode in front of me. I loved this. This is probably like my favorite scene of the entire episode.
Like, yeah.
That's fantastic. Didn't she call the dean a slut? I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's fantastic.
Don't cross me, slut.
Yes, that was fantastic, and I loved how she was trying to deny like the pill popping for like a moment, but then she's like, "I love it."
Right? She's like,
it was fantastic.
Put a little tuxedo on it, like.
Yes, she's like, it's got a little white tuxedo.
Right, like, oh my god, you fucking fiend. But like, not for nothing. Like, she really tried. She like really didn't even deny it. She like was like, I don't care. Like, even when the Chanel's called her, they're like, why are you wearing sunglasses? She's like, I'm just gonna tell you. I don't even care. She dry snitched on herself from the jump because she knew she wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah, I'm loving Kirstie Alley in this role, and you could tell she's having a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely, she like I gravitated to her immediately. Like the blue dress, like she looked awesome in it. I'm like I gravitated to her. Like immediately once she came on the screen, I'm like, oh yes, Kirstie Alley's back. I was so missing you.
Yeah, it was awesome. So we'll save Zayday's adventure. Wait, what were you saying, Prince?
You know what I just realized, and I kind of am bumming out about this now. Kirstie Alley and Niecy Nash had no scenes together. I would have loved to see their confrontation.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Imagine the two of them bumping into each other. Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, Denise totally would have called her on her pill popping shit like way before the dean did.
Kirstie Alley's character, like, just loves calling everybody a slut. Like, she's like Chanel with, like, good morning, you hoes, like, you sluts. Like, Kirstie Alley's character, and it's, like, even better watching an older person going around just calling everybody a slut.
Yeah, I love it when she calls the Chanel sluts and whores and hoes and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic.
Because it's like, you expect it from, like, the Chanels. They're young. Like, young people are. That's how we speak. Like, we use shit like that. Like, oh, you slut. You little, oh, you're such a little hoe. Like, but, like, seeing an older person, like, going around like, you're a little slut. Like, it's like, oh, my God, I love it. Say it again.
It's hilarious. So we'll save Zayday in a moment because she leads into the big reveal that we're definitely going to have to dissect. So let's move into the Chanels. So after their confrontation with Hoffel, Chanel Oberlin gets an idea. But before she gets that idea, let's just clear up, she's no longer blue because Brock Holt had come up with some sort of solution that basically had her pee all the metal out, so all the silver, and he still is confused as to, who messed up his solutions and stuff. And apparently Chanel now only has silver on her butt, so she's like a blonde baboon. For those out there that are wondering,
her makeup still looked like she still looked blue tinged in that. I was gonna ask, like, y'all, was that like a trick of the light? Was that what the episode was supposed to look like? Because she looked all
Yeah, I agree. I
Gee,
felt like
like,
that was how it was supposed to be. Like it got out, but it's still
Yeah,
kind of
like
like
it's still getting out her
racist.
system.
Yeah,
I noticed something off too.
she did look
okay, I was like, shit,
like
is
a
my,
baby blue.
I was like, my TV is in 4K, but like, it's not that bad. Like the color should still be the
Oh, that's
same.
too
No,
funny.
she was like a sky blue.
Not
I
a,
don't think it was
not a,
that bad, but you could tell that she had just been blue and that maybe she still hasn't finished peeing it all out of her system. Because remember, it was still on her butt. So Chanel comes up with this grand scheme that they need more Chanels because they need basically a shield around them so that the green meanie kills these other Chanels and they can survive until the end, like
It was
the last
great
time that
logic.
they exactly like the last time that they had a serial killer attacking them. And plus, these new Chanels can do all of like the stuff they don't want to do, like clean bedpans and catheters, and apparently jerk off comatose men to get semen samples and all that kind of stuff. And so they start recruiting people, but they find that there's no interest. Like everyone on their wait list replied no, and they were stuck. Like, what are we gonna do? So they decide to start recruiting patients because why not? And so they recruit Chanel number 7 and number 8. Number 7 is a girl named Marguerite who has Morphan syndrome. And then Chanel number 8 is a girl named Daria who has Mobius syndrome. And then they ran out of like quality Chanels in the hospital. So they end up recruiting their number one fan, this man named Tristan St. Pierre, who basically, when the Chanels were appealing their murder conviction, they found out about him as being their number one fan, and he writes Chanel erotica fan fiction. Lesbian Chanel fan fiction erotica with the Chanels, I guess, finger banging each other and strapping it up.
did any of you get to pause when?
Oh, I read all the titles. Yes.
Like,
I read the text messages and I read all the titles of the books. It was fantastic.
Oh my God,
I didn't get to see the book titles. I just saw like I got one of you and the Chanel like waiting in cement and then like being with one another. I was like, holy shit, okay, this fan fiction is detailed. Go right ahead with yourself. Like, damn. And he was just trying to be nice, like, but all of his texts were so creepy.
It really was. And then he got her phone number, and he was like, I asked it from your lawyer. I was like, that's a really good lawyer. You just called, hey, can I have Chanel's number? Oh, sure, why not? And so, okay, so they have 3 new Chanels, but then another Chanel emerges, and that Chanel is Hester. So one day in the hospital, Chanel, hears these noises, and she ends up pulling back a curtain, and under the sheets is Hester, and basically Hester demands to be a Chanel again. Basically, she's like, I heard you were looking for Chanel's, and I was disappointed you didn't come looking for me. And so she's like, if you make me a Chanel, I can protect you all from the serial killer. I can give you all information, all this kind of stuff. And so they decide to keep Hester, who wants to be Chanel number 6 again, in their apartment, and they decided to allow her to sleep with number 5 just in case she likes to sleep murder kill or something like that.
Oh my God, no, I love that whole scene too because like number 5 is like, you're making Hester a Chanel again? She's like, I'd like to be called number 6.
Yes, I like to be called number 6 again.
Like, I'm like this crazy bitch. I'm like, I hate her so much. So
this is probably where like I disagree with Prince in that like he said that Chanel number 3 made the episode. I think it was Chanel number 5. Her like little whines and like, God damn it, why? Like, wasn't this the part where in the episode where she's like, well, I'm gonna make them wash like my pants, like they're filled with farts or something. She's like,
oh my God, yes, she's like, you know what? You could wash my pants because you know what? I need to change them. These ones are filled with farts. I'm like, what are you? Oh my god, I hate you. Like, who said something like that? Like, you could
I'm
change my
glad
name.
she's not. I'm glad she's not dead. Like, she's my favorite Chanel out of all the Chanels. She's so pathetic.
Yeah, and it's crazy because of Denise's, and I'm going to use air quotes, death. Nobody at this point knows that Hester is missing. Like, they don't know about the deal she had with Denise. And so now all of a sudden, Hester is under the care of the Chanels. And, I mean, it's crazy if you think about it. And I love that they ask her the question. They're like, so tell us, who is the Green Meanie? And Hester, of course, is like, that's not how it works.
Do you think she actually knows?
I think she does.
Absolutely,
Like,
because you know
she's
what?
milking the shit for all it's worth. So I'm just kind of like, bitch, you don't know shit. Like, if you did,
Well,
you
she
would've
knows
told
it's
us.
episode 5. She can't spill that tea this early on.
Absolutely, and I think if she didn't know, the Green Meanie would have killed her before the whole fiasco. I think he would have killed her as well when she was dressed up like Melania.
You mean Ivanka,
Whatever.
not Melania. Did you call her Melania?
I don't know. I called her the wife, you know.
Yes, the wife.
Didn't he say he was gonna have sex with his daughter? I don't know. He's a freak. Whatever. So neither here nor there. He would have killed her right there.
Well, there's that. So
Plus,
they get an
wait.
idea.
Oh,
Mhm.
never mind. I'll wait because it.
Okay. I was say they get the idea to
fine.
have a slumber party in the hospital, and one of the reasons is because they want to send one of the new Chanels out as basically an offering to the Green Meanie, so that the Green Meanie doesn't kill the OG Chanels. And so they ended up picking Chanel number 8. Daria. Initially, they were going to pick Chanel Pour Homme, a.k.a. Tristan, but not the twink. So they sent out number 8, and under the ruse that there was I don't remember what it was. It was like an Hermes necklace or something like that. Some fancy type of brand of choker.
It was an Hermes infinity scarf. Like,
Okay, there you go.
I thought it was
Wow.
a choker. It was a choker because that's their style now.
Oh, God.
But Chanel Pour Homme has been dying for one of them, and so he's like, basically, get out of here, bitch, because it's mine. And so number 8 returns back, and she lets in. The other Chanels are like, what are you doing back? And she's like, Pour Homme wanted it more than me apparently, and kicked me out, and which leads the Chanels to run, I guess, to save Pour Homme, and Hester is running too, but she's very happy. And they end up finding Chanel Pour Homme with, I guess, the Hermes, whatever it was, in the box in his hands. And he is. What was he? Like, obviously his intestines he was like completely cut in half?
Yeah, completely.
Because it almost looked like the American Horror Story thing, where the intestines were
cut in half. He had his legs like deeper in the thing.
Okay, so he was completely cut in half with all of his intestines out and everything. And so Pour Homme is dead, and Munch is obviously furious because the Chanels hired other Chanels to do their work, and this is out of the other. But then she has sort of like a change of heart, much to the surprise of the Chanels, and she's like, you know what, that's actually a really good idea. So I brought you 3 more Chanels, and so now there's Chanels 9 through 11.
And 11. And
Yeah, 9, 10, 11.
Because it had an extra digit.
Yes, 11 had the extra digit. And then Munch sort of like chews the Chanel's a new asshole, basically saying, and you know what, Hester is missing. So if one of you or if all of you are housing Hester, that's against the law. And I'm going to make sure that you pay, and I will be there when they flip the switch on the electric chair because you are harboring a known murderer. And of course, they don't say anything. They keep it to themselves. And even after hearing that they are basically bait and a shield for the OG Chanel's. Chanel number 7 and 8 are fine with it, and Chanel number 7 is in particular fine with it because she loves the outfits.
I love that.
So,
It was like,
yes.
you know what? I'm okay with that. I like the outfits. I've grown accustomed to them.
Yes. So the remaining new Chanel's, Chanel number 7 and 8 and 9, 10 and 11, end up getting sent away to do some of the Chanel's minion work. And they end up running into the green meanie. And so all of the Chanel's, except for Chanel number 11, run away. And Chanel number 11, sort of, puts her hands up. I don't know what that was supposed to do, but she ends up putting her hands up, like, to stop the green meanie. And the green meanie is about to slice, but then the green meanie pauses. And he's like, look at this bitch. She's got 11 fingers. And so he ends up slicing off the extra digit. And poor Midge, Chanel number 11, she looks so thankful and so grateful at the green meanie. She just wants to give him a hug. But the green meanie ain't about no hugs. The green meanie is about slicing and dicing. And so he shoves both of his machetes inside of Midge and leaves her dead on the ground.
For a split second, I was like, oh, she's so happy and he didn't kill her right off the bat. Maybe he's going to let her go. No, he just killed her.
Yeah, I thought he was going to let her go, too. I thought he was going to be like, you know what? I got sympathy for you with your 11 fingers. Get out of here.
Yeah, that was one of the better I had to say the funnier moments of the green meeting. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like, yeah. Oh, asshole.
I missed you, Wilson. Like, of course, you'd be like, another death? Cha-ching. That's exactly what I was looking for.
But I will say, I am a big fan of number 8. Because when she was like, oh, we're going to have a slumber party. No, makeover. She's like, I'm so excited. Can't you tell?
Aww.
Like,
I looked her up, and she actually, she had a brain tumor when she was 2.
Oh, that's really...
Yeah, she had, the actress, her name is Riley Weinstein, and when she was 2... she had, there was a brain tumor, and so she had several surgeries to remove the tumor, and she became paralyzed with little hope of like, basically any type of motion ability to return to her face, and they didn't even know if she was going to be able to communicate through speech. But after like years, I guess, of therapy and whatnot, she was able to start moving to music and dance. And she's actually, if I'm not mistaken, she's a dance instructor. So
well, she should pop in. She is my favorite one.
I like her because she's like the sweet one. Like, she's really innocent, which makes me sad because, I mean, she's probably going to die.
I was so glad that little twink boy wanted to be greedy because she was about to die and then he wanted to show up. So I was like, you had this coming.
I washed my hands of him. Like, you knew she was like set up for bait and that she was going to die. And when he came being like a total bitch, I was like, you know what, Chanel? Poor I like you. Like, I liked the cologne as a scent, but I don't like you. So you can die. I don't give a shit. I also, costume design, great choice on, like, kind of mirroring the first look that Chanel had in the season number 1 in Chanel Pour Homme, like, with the little, like, beads and stuff, like the pearls and the bow and the pink jacket. Like, it worked so well. I'm just also going to say, one of my favorite, like, cuts to Chanel number 5 is in the sleepover party, where you see everybody moving around doing like a pillow fight, and she's just waving a pillow around by herself. Nobody even wants to fight with her. She's just waving it around like a dumbass. I love it.
One of my favorite things about that whole sequence was, if you looked in the windows, like in the back, like the hospital was still like working. Like, there were nurses and doctors walking around, and like you have this group in like a sterile environment, like having a slumber party. Like, it's just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's hilarious. It was fantastic.
I was a little upset though, because you know what? The Chanel's a fake as fuck. Let's just be real. Because My boy Nick Jonas was trying to join the Chanel's last season, and he was talking about he was gay, and they wasn't having it.
Well, yeah, no, Chanel number 5 was shocked, remember?
Yeah, but remember, they wasn't trying to let him be a Chanel.
Well, you know, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Now they recruiting. Well, that's why their guy Chanel died first, because they was being trifling.
Well, there you go.
You know what? Now I believe Nick Jonas is back.
Oh, gosh. So, let's talk about the storyline that led to the big revelation. So, Zayday heads on over to Munch to basically share her theory. Something had been bugging her, so she's like, I just need to put this out on the table. Like, she feels Chamberlain is the 1985 Halloween massacre, you know, no, the original father getting killed baby. And...
oh, wait, hold on. They called it the baby in
the
belly.
baby in the belly.
Which made no sense to me.
Because it can't be in the baby in the
I
tub.
thought babies usually... Well, I thought babies are usually in bellies, but it just made very little... it could have just been a baby, but it was baby in the belly.
Yes, I think it's because a baby in the tub was like the whole thing last season, so they have to put the baby somewhere.
That's what I thought as well. But I was like, oh, they're so stupid. The baby in the belly, I was like, that's where babies usually go, but okay.
So she's like, he has to be it, you know, because it's weird, and so she starts asking questions like, you know, he mentioned that he got this job because you had this thing on Craigslist and all this kind of stuff, and the dean is like, Chamberlain, like, I didn't hire him. Like, I thought he was Holt's assistant. Like, why would I do any type of a listing on Craigslist, especially for the hospital? And like, hello, Candy Striper? That's supposed to be a job for like teenage girls. Like, that does not make any sense. And so Zayday obviously becomes even more suspicious, and she's like, well, this is like even more of a reason for me to suspect him. And so she starts questioning him, like, oh, you freaky, like, and so she gets him to confess that yes, there was no Craigslist ad, and that yes, you know, he did sort of like walk in from out the street and just start working there, and that's because he likes to make people happy. And you know, the other hospital that's close by is like so far away he'd have to take the bus, and there's no way that they're going to let him on the bus with his card and all this kind of stuff. And so this hospital, once they reopen it, is only 5 minutes from his house and all this kind of stuff. And like, how can you think any ill will of me? You know, I'm just trying to make people happy. That's why I got a little kitty cat in my hand and all this kind of stuff. Which leads Zayday to do some more investigating, and she decides she has to go find the mother, the woman whose husband died, that set into effect the original Halloween massacre of the 80s, which had led to the Green Meanie's return and the most recent Halloween massacre. So she ends up having Chanel number 5 tag along because, to be quite honest, you know, she was there. I mean, she got pulled out of ICU by Chanel because she wanted number 5 close by so that she can insult her at a closer distance, basically. So they end up finding the woman. Her name is Jane Hollis, and they visit her house, and they're trying to get some information on her husband and what ended up happening that night. There was a great little thing that I just found it hilarious, where Chanel number 5 was drinking, which was already hilarious to watch, and she's like, this coffee is disgusting, and then Zayday's like, it's not coffee, it's tea, and then Chanel number 5's like, I'm pretty sure that I ordered a coffee, and then Zayday's like, you didn't order anything, because this is a home, not a restaurant. That was my favorite exchange.
I've been waiting for Chanel number 5's Zayday scene, and I was not disappointed. Holy shit! Like, she plays straight man to like Chanel's number 5's buffoon really well.
It was wonderful.
But Chanel number 5's like a better detective than I thought. Like, and Zayday got proven racist by the racist prover, because holy shit! Like, well, we figured out she's not his son because he's black. Like,
she's white.
The father was black. Oh my
Yeah, no,
god.
but
Like,
she was like the way Chanel number 5 did it. I mean, it was so stupid. 'Cause she was like, "Oh, who's that basketball player you're with in a picture? Was this like a Make-A-Wish thing after your husband died?" I'm like, first off, I don't think they do Make-A-Wish for adults, and I don't think they would do it after your husband dies. Like, it was just, but she was like, no, that's my husband, and so then obviously that led to her realization that maybe it could be Chamberlain again, because obviously the baby would be biracial, and they end up leaving this thread, and we pick up on this thread at the end of the episode because we see Jane again. She's making breakfast for dinner because her child, her baby, her grown-up baby, likes that, and she mentions that people came by from the hospital asking about your father and about you. Well, actually, about the baby. And we see that she's talking to Dr. Cassidy Cascade. And I know, and he ends up telling her, don't worry, Mom, I'll take care of everything. Like, you've been so good to me, I'll make sure, everything is okay. And then he has a very suspicious look on his face. So, what do we think of this? What do we think of this confirmation? What do we think of this? Certainly a little hiccup, at least in our theory, because I don't want us to get into our theories as to who we think is what at this moment. I just want us to sort of discuss the revelation, but I do have to bring to the conversation one of our theories, which was that Nurse Hoffel was the mom grown up, the mom in present day, and obviously that is not the case. So that part of our theory was completely debunked. But I know I've said for the longest that the baby was Cascade because he looks so much like the actor that played the father. So I feel like this is 1,000% confirmation for me, at least, on that theory, which I was very happy about.
oh yeah.
So
Vindication for you, indeed. Because I totally thought it was Chamberlain.
I know.
I still don't buy that whole bit that he gave where it's like, well, if I just want to give people smiles, and I don't want to be carrying this thing around in the bus, why not just do it here? I don't buy that. I don't think he's, innocent. And neither do I think, Dr. Cassidy Cascade is entirely innocent, when he came out. I think what tipped it off is, that shirt that he wore, when it panned to his chest, I'm like, we saw him wear that same shirt when he died for the first time, as the frat boy, when he got real drunk and died in, the bed. So I was like, oh, it's Dr. Cassidy Cascade. That's the son. God damn it. My theories were proven wrong.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Oh,
looking forward
he
to
was
see
wearing
what
his
pans
father's
out
shirt? That was the same shirt in the picture?
No, remember when he died, throwing
Yeah.
up in his mouth? He was wearing, a flannel shirt underneath, the jacket.
Oh, okay.
And that's the same flannel shirt that was panned to.
Oh, okay. I liked the reveal. I thought it was pretty awesome. So, I liked the revelation. I thought it was a neat revelation. I loved how they kept it till the end. And I do like that they used the same actress. They just put sort of the old age makeup on. So, even though, I thought that our theory was pretty awesome with having Hoffel being the mom in present day. But the mom is the mom from the flashbacks, which is fine. And then the twist of Cassidy being the child was good. I'm glad that I called it. I feel awesome. So what about everyone else? So we sort of got Priscilla's thoughts on the reveal, as well as her thoughts still on Chamberlain. What do we think of Chamberlain, as well as the revelation at the end with Cassidy?
Yeah, I'm wondering what the fat boy still has to do with anything. Yeah, and a male candy striper. I'm surprised. I'm glad somebody finally called him out on that. Like, really, dude, you're not even. What are you doing here? As far as the reveal, I was like, I don't know if it had as much impact as I was thinking it was going to have, but to find that it was Cassidy, yeah, that was off. I was thinking it was Chamberlain as well. So Yeah, that's an interesting twist. I wonder what it means though.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Prince, what about you?
All right. So as for the whole Chamberlain, one that escalated all quickly when they all came to like, when she was like, "You're a freak," and he started talking about anal. But
Yeah, well, there's that.
yeah, that escalated real quickly. I was like, "Oh, whoa!" Like, damn, let her at least say why she thinks you're a freak. Like, you done gave her too much information. Like, I hope you was not trying to impress her now. But I still think, you know what, he still may have a tie to it because, like I said, we are calling it the baby in the belly. Maybe they had a kid prior to it or a step kid. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Because I still feel like there's, two green meanies switching off, and I don't think it's the mom.
Okay, because it was
Um,
just to like piggyback off of what you said. It was
mhm.
weird how like specifically noticed. She was like, "Well, they didn't ask about you, but they did ask about the baby." So that was a little bit odd, like the phrasing of it, which I was like, what's
Yeah.
that supposed to mean?"
I'm like, just to throw it off, watch like, like Cassidy be the older brother of Chamberlain, even though it looks like Chamberlain would be the older brother. Like, just some weird, like, throw you off, like, but it was in your face type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the reveal, I kind of, I was expecting it. We kind of needed like a clue, in a sense, to like what's going on because we are at the halfway mark. So I was kind of waiting for this, but now we're gonna, with the last 5 episodes, we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Hopefully, more bodies hit the floor.
Well, there you go. And before we get into the MVP, I ended up finding this, so I'm going to read it because it was amazing. Addicted? Where do you get off, you boozy old hag? Yes, I take a daily dose of pethidine, and yes, it's a very large dose. Something like you would prescribe a Clydesdale. But you know what? I love it. It is hands down the best friend I have ever had. It is a lover, friend, all wrapped in some tiny little white tuxedo. I mean, I do. I think about it morning, noon, and night. But addicted? No, I am not. Yes, I obviously am, but how dare you, you creaky old whore.
I freaking love her.
It's fantastic.
Oh, she bounces around so much, like within that. She's like,
She was
"No, I'm
all
not
over the
She was
room.
probably high at the moment, if you want to be serious.
No, she did. Oh my god, I could see it. Oh my god, she was like everywhere.
Yeah,
I was like, this bitch is on something.
she's on fire. All right, let's get into the MVP, the most valuable player, the character that impressed you the most, and why. You all know the rules. If someone states the character that you were going to take, then you have to pick a different one. No repeats. We'll start off with Prince. Who's your MVP and por qué?
I'm gonna go with Chanel number 3 because she's popping. She should popping, and she
Not
made me
as
laugh.
much poppin' as awful.
Yeah. Well, oh, I know, but you know
No,
what?
she's pill
I had to
poppin'
give
is
it.
what I'm trying to say.
that's
Yeah,
fair,
yeah. No, I got
Chris."
it. But I'm like, I gotta give it to my number 3. I'm like, I love that girl.
All right. Wilson, what about you? Your MVP and why?
I'm gonna go with Chanel number 5,
Oh, that's a good one.
and
Oh, I
yeah, 'cause
hate you so much.
yeah, she was wilding out in this episode. She was all over the place, and yeah, I think just the scene when she was with Denise, that was the one that just kind of sealed it for me. She was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, her face was classic throughout the whole
No,
episode. So
you
yeah,
definitely
I'm gonna
picked a
go.
good one, Wilson. Because I'll give you Chanel number 5 had me dying when she's like, "This coffee tastes like shit," and she's like, "Because it's tea." I thought I ordered the coffee. You didn't order anything. You like that whole scene when they met.
Yeah,
That really gave me Chanel number 5, but that was a good choice.
Yeah, that was spectacular.
like,
And my MVP is, I mean, I have to give it to her because I read the damn monologue. Nurse Hoffel. I mean, she was just fantastic in the couple of
Why?
scenes. I apologize. She was fantastic in the couple of scenes that she was in this episode. I mean, Kirstie Alley is bringing it. I mean, she's just fantastic. And any scene where you're going toe to toe with Jamie Lee as Kathy Munch, you got to give props to the person that's confronting much, and Hoffel did an amazing job. So, Priscilla, who's your MVP? To be quite honest, this was a good episode for a lot of characters. So, even though I guess two of us swiped two of yours, there are still a couple of other good ones out there, I think. Maybe?
I was nice. I was being charitable today.
I know who my favorite is, if it's not those two. I don't remember what her number is, but the girl with the face that's like stilted into
Chanel number
one
8.
expression. Yeah, I love her. She's just so like innocent and sweet, and like she's like, I'm so scared or I'm so excited, and it's the same face, but she takes it in stride. And she really was like, I felt bad for her when she was looking for that piece from Hermes, and like dicked out Chanel. Poor homme comes and like tells her like, I'm gonna find it first, bitch, and I'm gonna take it. I'm like, you know what? Die. I don't care. I loved Chanel number 8, and I hope to see more of her. So she's totally cannon fodder. She's gonna
with
die.
you, Priscilla.
Yeah. I had a feeling he was going to die
Chanel
because
8.
of the name of the episode. It was Chanel pour Homme-icide. So I was like, he has to be the one that dies. So
Yeah.
now it's time for the big question. And we're going to go in the exact same order.
Wait, before we do this, can we go back real quick? So you know how I had said something about the accent, but I said I was gonna wait
Yes.
about the accent.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you remember the two were gonna go watch the movie and get rid of their accent, and homeboy had something to do.
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't he talk to his mom with the accent?
That is true. Well, there's a little hiccup with the accent as well, because if you go back and look at the slumber party, which is in like the middle of everything, Chanel number 3 didn't have her accent at the slumber party, but then afterwards, when she got confronted by the dean, like she did have the accent too. So the accent thing was a little inconsistent, to be quite honest.
You know
They were
what? If
slacking. Inconsistency.
If it's Madonna that we're basing this off of, her accent
This is
isn't
true.
consistent either.
Yeah.
So
They could have easily slipped
I'm
back
willing
into
to
an
give 'em a pass
American
on that.
accent, because that would have been another
Touche,
accent,
Priscilla.
technically. So they had an out
Touche.
for that.
Touche.
Yeah. So now it's time for the big question. The question that we all love to answer, except for Priscilla, who's dreading it during tonight's podcast. We're going to go in the same order, though. So, Priscilla, you will go last. So it gives you a chance to marinate on who's the green meanie.
Grazie.
You're welcome. And so I guess we all decided, and listeners, it was via peer pressure, that we can give 3 because it was 3 last season. Although technically we don't have proof that it's 3 yet. I can understand that there might be at least 2, especially after that scene in the surgery room. But we all agreed that we want 3. So you can have up to 3 choices as to who has teamed up to become the green meanie. So who do you think the killer/killers are? And that means Prince was first, right? Yes, Prince.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Cassidy Cascade, I'm going with homeboy with the little cart.
Chamberlain.
Chamberlain. I'm going with Chamberlain, and I'm going with Hester. The reason why is because I'm going based off to this episode. I'm going to say, well, we already know Hester was Ivanka, so that's why I say Hester. So with the green meanie aspect, I'm going to go with Cassidy and Chamberlain. I'm going to say Chamberlain was at the slumber party while Cassidy was meeting with the mom, and they're somehow still related as brothers.
Okay, that's interesting. Hashtag plot twist. Wilson, what about you? Who are the killers?
I'm gonna say I can't remember his name now. John Stamos' character. I think
Brock
it's that
Holt.
guy. Yeah, I think it's him. And even though he doesn't really have a direct reason to be, I still think it's him.
Just him by himself?
And not him by himself, but I don't know who the other. I only think it's one other green meanie. Even though I know we're saying 3, I only think there's other one. The more I'm thinking about it, but I just don't know who. So I was just gonna say Denise Hempfield.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, you're just
Oh
put some
god!
respect on her name.
Yeah, I don't
Put some
know. I don't know who the other
respect
one
on her
is.
name.
Wilson, you're banished.
Yeah.
How can you? Yes, you've tarnished the name of Special Agent of the FBI, Quantico graduate who doesn't chase the rivers and the lakes that she used to, Denise Hemphill,
Well,
former
I
Kappa
mean,
Kappa
at
Tau
least I
Put
didn't.
some
den mother.
respect on that name. You put some respect
Yes,
on
put
that
respect
name.
on her name.
I mean, they were about to push her into a
Yeah, well,
swamp.
that's true. Okay, well, it's an interesting theory.
That's true. You gotta
I'm just saying.
Oh, but see, you know what, Wilson? See, the reason why I get your like idea of John Stamos because you know what, it just seems like he kind of would be like a practical killer. But my only reason why I haven't chose him ever yet is because that idle hand, I feel like if he was the killer, would kind of come into play.
Hmm.
Okay. So I have
Like it
a.
would kind of like
Wait, go ahead. Go ahead, Prince.
like nah, I kind of feel like you know like him and the idle hand would be like it would be like a fight. Like I feel like he wouldn't go along with it. But you know what, you could be right. Who knows?
Okay, so I have a really wild and far out theory. I don't know if I'm going to stick to this. I will need more proof for me to be able to stick to this. But for right now, this is my theory for this episode. Because I'm like, you know what? It was in the back of my head. And I'm like, let me just say it. Because if it does end up being real, I can get some credit for it, even though I don't know if I'm going to agree with it next time. But here's my theory. So the green meanies are Hester obviously is involved, I feel. Something. She has to be. Cassidy, because obviously his mom and everything that happened and revenge and all that kind of stuff. And the third person is Dr. Brock Holt. And let me explain why. Wilson didn't have a reason why, but I have a reason, and maybe Wilson might like this reason. And it might make you feel justified for picking Dr. Holt Wilson. I think Brock Holt is Cassidy's father. I feel like when he was dipped into the swamp, he was still a little bit alive. He wasn't fully dead. Kind of like, remember how they introduced the whole Denise, there was a faint pulse? Maybe there was a faint pulse. And maybe, remember they had mentioned in that flashback that swamp was filled with, like, I forget what they said. It was like, I don't know, it's like chemical waste or something like that. So something in the water, let's say, mutated Holt. And that's why he maybe he looks a little bit different. You know, maybe that's why his skin lightened a little bit. Because John
changed
Stamos
his
does have like all the V
Well, he
skin.
went from big black dude to like
Well, I'm saying, you know,
Ronnie
maybe it altered his skin a little bit. Like maybe he ended up having some reconstructive surgery or something as well, so he's not recognizable. Maybe, but what I thought was interesting is that his father, Cassidy's father's name is Bill Hollis, B.H. Brock Holt.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
So whether it was the swamp, you know, altering him, or maybe the swamp did alter him so badly he was disfigured, he had to get reconstructive surgery. Maybe his hand was melted off or something, and he had to get a hand transplant, and all this and the other. Remember how we've said that the logo on the back of the tattoo, not the logo, but the tattoo on his back of Harvard isn't the Harvard logo? Maybe he never went to Harvard. Maybe this was this whole plan that he set into place with his wife and son to get revenge. And they ended up somehow finding out about Hester, maybe through the news and whatnot, so they ended up visiting her to get more information on like how they can get their revenge. And so that's how Hester was brought into the mix. So, like I said, it was a wacky, insane theory, and this is this might be the only episode where I feel confident about it. But I was like, you know what? Let me just put it out there because this is the kind of show where, to be quite honest, anything can happen.
Right.
Let me try to help your case, or maybe in this scenario, it's more like this. Maybe Chamberlain was the first baby with the first husband. Maybe she remarries, and maybe Brock is the second one. And
Okay.
she's never moved on, and he's kind of like, happy wife, happy life. Let me get rid of this.
There you go. That could be it too.
It could be a family affair.
Yes, like Mary J. Blige. All right.
Hateration.
Yes, in this dancery.
Can I ask a question, and a really stupid
Yes.
question? Why are we saying 3 as opposed to 2 killers?
I guess because if we're going with the pattern of last season, that's you guys convinced me to allow you to pick 3. So I'm just going by peer pressure.
Okay.
But if you feel
All
that
right.
it's 2, Wilson stood his ground saying that it's 2.
All right, I think I'm gonna go the Wilson route and say that it's 2. And I'm still sticking to my guns. Like, I suspect Chamberlain's like little excuse where he's just kind of like, well, what if somebody just wants to be a good person? No, this is Scream Queens. There's no such thing as a good person. Even Grace, who was like almost gonna be like the good person the first season, like you found out she has her own like reasons for doing what she does, and I think Chamberlain has bad reasons. I think he's a bad guy, and I still am like maintaining that Nurse Hoffel like is like beyond pill popping. There has to be a reason why she's still doing her job at that hospital, like why she wants it to succeed, why she wants to maintain her job there, and it's because it's a cover. It's because she's still killing people, still like doing something. Like I don't know why, but there has to be a reason why these 2 people want to work at that hospital. I still don't like. I can see where like the suspicion
There's
is to,
treasure
like,
in the
Cascade
basement. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, there is Denise Hemphill, and she's a treasure.
She is our treasure,
So there is
yes.
treasure. But no, like I can see where the suspicion is to Holt and to Cascade, but I haven't seen enough of like a bad action from them or just like a vibe. I haven't gotten that yet. So I'm gonna hold out on the 3rd green meanie. I'm holding out for Hoffel and for Chamberlain as the green meanies.
Okay. And I respect that. One thing that I will bring back into the conversation, though, and it's just because Hester was adamant about it, is that she said it's right in your face. It's so simple. Why aren't you seeing it? It's right in your face.
True, but Chad said you would have never guessed who it was, because I didn't even see it coming.
Well, that's true, too.
Which makes me imply that there was 2 green meanies, because I think Hester knows about one of them, and she might not know about the other one.
Okay. Well, I like all the theories. I feel like one of us is right, or has been right, or will be right before the season ends. And I'm excited.
Someone's been right up in this day.
Yes, someone has to have been. So I'm excited to find that out. And so, I guess on that note, join us next time for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid, Scream Queens? Once again, here's our announcer to remind you on how you can interact with us.
Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through iTunes. Just search for Are You Afraid? Scream Queens, and subscribe.
Thanks, announcer. Co-hosts, please wish the listeners good night.
Good night, green meanies.
Drop the mic.
Good night. Yeah.
Sluts. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I was waiting for sluts from Wilson, but no sluts. Thanks for tuning in. Download new episodes of Are You Afraid, Scream Queens every Thursday via iTunes and the Poppy Chula Radio archives. New episodes stream via poppychularadio.com every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Good night. Prince, are you there? Okay, that's a no. Prince? Or is that Wilson moving around?
Oh, that's probably
Okay. Now, we don't have a spoiler section in this show. In the show. In the show. In the show. In the show. Prince?